Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube. My name is Gertie Kele and I'm a rally, driving and motorsport enthusiast, and today I'm going to be showing you how I dance around on those pedals and also tell you my secrets and what goes on in this brain when I'm rallying or I'm going through a stage. So stick around and let's have some fun. Okay, so for today's video, we're going to be using EA Sports WRC, and I've got my trusty foot cam down here with some bright white socks. And I think the best place to start is to show you or tell you briefly about some of the racing techniques that I use when I rally and game. Yeah. Okay, so I thought the best place to start is for me to explain the techniques that I use when I sim race, because I'll be discussing a lot of those things throughout this video, so I want to make sure that we all understand we're on the same page. And yeah, I think I'm going to do a whole video also on left foot braking, because that technique changed everything for my driving. Like, it changed my whole driving experience and it was just amazing. So I think I need to do a video on that as well. So the clutch kick basically is where you're going to dump the clutch if you maybe feel as if the car's losing power or slowing down in a turn, in a corner. I usually use it in my handbrake turns. Whenever I pull the handbrake and I can feel that maybe the car's losing a little bit of power, I'll just dump the clutch quickly off, and it releases, well, it sends a whole lot of power into the engine and picks up, gives you a lot of power as you go through the rest of the corner. So that's what I'll usually use sometimes as well, just to get me around a handbrake turn. You can also use it in a corner if you're downshifting. Give it a little clutch kick and it's gonna have a surge of power go to the engine, and then you're off to go. If you feel that the car's losing power, that's what I usually use. So basically what happens with left foot braking, if I were to explain it briefly in this video so that we can understand what's happening as I carry on with my footwork and everything, it's basically, as the name explains or describes, it's where you're going to be braking with your left foot. Typically when you drive normally on the roads, you'll brake with your right foot and then use a left foot solely to change gears. But in racing and motorsports, we use left foot braking a lot, and in sim racing as well. It helps a huge deal. So left foot braking, what is left foot braking? When do you use it? What is it for? So left foot braking basically is where you brake with your left foot, yes, and it helps with the weight transfer and the weight distribution around the car. So, you know, if you accelerate, the weight is going to go back. If you brake, the weight is going to go forward. If you steer left, the weight is going to go right. If you steer left, the weight is going to go right. So left foot braking helps with balancing all of that, and it helps the car sort of like tuck so that you have more control over the car. So you basically use it, I use it all the time just to balance the car. If I feel the car starting to wobble a little bit and I'm accelerating, I'll left foot brake just to get it back and balanced. Also, if you're entering a corner and exiting that same corner in the same gear, in the same speed, you'll also want to left foot brake so that you can sort of balance the car properly and it tucks. And it can also be used to pivot the car, especially in the fast stages, you know, like Poland, maybe Sweden. If you're accelerating and you're going really quickly, and there's maybe you're in a 6 that tightens to a 5 or a 4, then you would want to accelerate and left foot brake, because the car sort of steers the car also, and it helps pivot the car into the corner and gracefully, smoothly as well. Because if you're gonna accelerate and then take your foot off the accelerator onto the brake and then turn the wheel, that car's gonna roll. The weight is going to be thrown all over. So I would definitely recommend left foot braking. It's a must, guys, 100%. And yeah, that's basically left foot braking. Yeah, you use it if you're entering and exiting a corner at the same speed and you want to keep the car balanced. You're sort of almost steering the car with your feet in a way. Helps pivot the car and keep the car centered and tucked and just nice. Another technique I use is off throttle oversteer. So what off throttle oversteer is basically where you use the car's engine braking to throw the car into an oversteer. So what happens with that is, the best way I can describe it is, when I use it when I'm entering a corner too quickly, because I do have a problem with speed. So sometimes I tend to go into my corners. I'll hear 3 and I'll still think, okay, I can go into that a little bit quicker. And then when I get into the 3, I realize I'm going away too quickly. So what I'll do is, basically you'll be accelerating, probably braking at the same time. I'll release everything, and then I will just use steering inputs in order to turn the corner, because what happens is that engine braking is going to throw the weight forward in the car, and which is going to kick the rear wheels out and allow it to oversteer. So it's off throttle oversteer, because the car's oversteering. So once you do that while you're driving, you'll notice the car's going to start oversteering, which will help carry the weight around the corner and slow the car down a little bit more into the corner. So that's why I use off throttle oversteer. But sometimes, because you know there's so much going on, there's so much stimuli, there's a lot going on when you're driving. So you've got the pace notes, you're driving, you're focusing on the road, on the conditions. There's a whole lot of things that's going on. Sometimes I'll even forget and I'll ride the clutch when I'm off throttle oversteering, which just messes it up. Sometimes you see me smashing into a gate like in my previous run. But that is the gist of the technique, and I love that also in EA Sports WRC in the rally school they actually have off throttle oversteer. That's where I actually learned it, and I think that would be a great place for you to also learn it on the different tarmacs, on gravel or dirt or snow. It's a great technique. It's fairly simple. Only input you have is your steering wheel. So yeah. The other technique I use is the heel toe shift. I use that for my downshifts also. Basically that's where you will see me when I'm changing. I'm gonna have to use this so I can think properly. When, let's say I'm in 3rd gear and I want to change down to 2nd, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clutch in, press the brake. While the car's in neutral, I'm going to blip the throttle or accelerator, just tap it while it's in neutral to raise the revs, and then shift down to 2nd so that I have a smooth transition from 3rd to 2nd gear. The car doesn't jerk, it doesn't shake or anything, and I have a nice smooth transition throughout all my gears. So that is the heel toe shift. I have got another video on that. I will link it somewhere so that you can also see the basics of the heel toe shift. So those are all the techniques I use. Okay, so I'm going to give you a few tips before I do the time stage as well, just so that you can also have an idea as to how I dance around the pedals. I think the hardest transition is usually going to be moving from braking with your right foot as normal and moving to braking with your left foot, because usually, you know, the left foot is reserved for the clutch and then you brake with your right foot, but this is not normal driving, it's racing. So now we move our left foot to the brake as well. So usually you'll get confused also as to where the brake is, because I would get confused and think the brake is actually my clutch or the clutch is the brake. So you get a little bit confused as to what's where and where is what. I'd find myself maybe just getting confused as to where my foot is, like if it's on the brake or on the clutch or the timing. What happened was I got an incredible tip on TikTok which changed the game for me when it comes to my left foot braking. So the tip that I got on TikTok which changed the game for me in my left foot braking and helped me rewire my brain was to keep my left foot hovered over the brake. So mainly use your left foot to brake and only move it when you need to change gears. So that's what you'll see me do. Even when I do the time test, you'll notice that my left foot is always hovered over the brake. I only ever shifted to the clutch if ever I need to change gears. So every single time I'm driving, I will drive, accelerate, brake, 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 and then I know, okay, maybe I'm in 3rd gear, I need to shift down into 2nd gear. So that's when I'm going to move my feet over to the clutch, and then I will brake with my right foot just so that I can get that smooth transition for the heel toe, and then back and move it over again. So basically when it comes to like road normal driving, typical driving, your foot position would be something like this. Your left foot is for the clutch, and then this right foot is for the accelerator and the brake, and you would normally use it and move around like that. So that would be your normal driving. If you need to clutch, your left foot is always on the clutch, ready to change gears whenever you need to. But when it comes to racing, it's completely different. Basically, my right foot will usually stay on the throttle side, and then my left foot will be on the brake, and also change and move whenever I need to change gears. So this would be my typical position. This would be your typical road position. This is your typical racing position. So that's the first tip that I can give you, is to position your feet differently. So whenever you need to change gears, if you're using a manual, of course you're gonna have to clutch and change gears. Always move your foot over to change gears, your left leg, and then once you're done changing gears, you can move it back, so that you always remember to left foot brake. All right, so that's the first thing. Okay, so how I would use this position when it comes to all the different driving techniques. So with left foot braking, of course my left foot is already hovered over the brake, so that would definitely come naturally. You just use your left foot to brake whenever you may need to. So the standard position is perfect for left foot braking. Clutch kick, if you are losing power, let's say you're in second gear, you're losing power into a turn, I just move my foot over, clutch kick, and then I keep accelerating, and I'm able to keep going. You just move your left foot over to the clutch, give it a kick, and then you come back over again. Okay, so when it comes to the heel toe shift, this is how I would do it. So basically, let's say we are on a straight and we are approaching a left 3. So we'd probably be in a high gear. If we're on a flat, say we're in 5th gear or 6th gear, depending on your transmission. I'm going to put it in 5th gear for now, for what I'm comfortable with as well. So what would happen is, let's say we're on a flat and it's tightening into a 3. We are going to want to use the heel toe shift for a smooth transition into that 3 to turn around the corner, and also we're gonna left foot brake to stabilize the car. So what I would do if I heard that call is basically we'd be accelerating into the corner. I'm going to show you how I move my feet around. I'll be accelerating into the corner and left foot braking just so I could stabilize the car. And once I see the left 3, or I can see it approaching, what I will do from there is I will take my left foot and move it over to the clutch. I will also probably be lifting off the accelerator, prepping to heel toe shift. So from 5th gear, I will clutch in from there, move my right foot over to the left, to the clutch, to the brake. I'll move my right foot over to the brake, heel toe shift as many times as I may need to get to 2nd or 3rd. It's a left 3, so I'll probably be in 3rd. And then I'll jump right back over to the accelerator with my right foot and move my left foot back to the brake and power through, and maybe dab on the brake a little bit just to stabilize the car. So a move like that, if I do it quickly, would look something like this. I'm just gonna have to imagine it in my mind. Would be, I'm approaching I'm in the flat, I'm going straight, and then I see there's a left 3 coming up. I'd have to shift down and then switch back over. So yeah, I didn't do the gear properly, but that's how it would look. Something like that. So just to describe it again, I will have my foot on the accelerator, I'm left foot braking, slowing down into the corner. From there, I will move my left foot over to the clutch, and then from there move my right foot over to the brake as I heel toe shift to go into 2nd. From there, or 3rd, depending on how tight the left 3 is. From there, I will lift, move my right foot back over to the accelerator, and continue to left foot brake if I may need to going out of the corner. So I hope that makes sense. And yeah, let me do the final time test and let's see how it goes.
Well, you've got all the skills at your disposal now. Five, four, three, two, one, go. 90. 3 right, opens, into crest, 40, 1 left, past junction, 180. 8, 2 left, tightens, into 6 right, long, 70. 6 right short, 80. Slowing, long crest, and 3 right, 80. Slight right to the crest, 40. Small crest, and 3 left, half long, and slight left, into crest, and 3 right, don't cut, 60. Left of the crest, 60. 5 left, past junction, 40, caution, right of the crest, and 4 right, tightens, 2, half long, into crest, 4 left of the crest, 60. 2 left short, 190. Finish to stop.
So now I'm going to explain my thought process from the beginning all the way through to the end of the stage. Basically, the main key takeaway which I'd like for you to take away from this, or which has helped me also in my rally driving, is, and it might be a bit of a deviation from the beginner's tutorial video because it's a bit different, but as you go you'll notice the transition, is to listen to the pace notes and don't look at the road. You trust your navigator or your co-driver that he knows, and you guys have done everything you've needed to do in the recce, that his call is what is going to come. So whether you can see a turn or you can't, you've heard your navigator, he says it's a left 3 tightens, you prepare for that left 3 to tighten whether you can see it or not. So you listen to your co-driver and you don't watch the road. You obviously do look at the road, of course, because you have to see what's going on, but there's you sort of like create the road. You can see the road in your mind, because if he's calling, okay, it's a right 5 into a left 3, you know, okay, we're going to a right 5 into a left 3, which may tighten or not. So you sort of see the road in your mind before you see it in front of you, because of the calls from your co-driver or your navigator. So that would be the first tip. Whether you think that no, it can't be a left 3 coming up because you can't see it, it's not for you to judge. You're the driver, you drive, and then your co-driver will co-drive and call out the pace notes, and you listen to him 100%. You trust him because he knows what's coming up in front, and that's his job. It was a little bit hard for me to transition from the beginner level, because I did say at the beginning you should definitely look at the road and listen to your co-driver at the same time, so that you can familiarize yourself with how, let's say, a left or right 3 would look. So if he says left 3 and then you driving really slowly and you can also see the left 3, it helps you know, okay, this is how a left 3 looks. So once you've already done that and you understand how the pace notes and the road correlates, that's when you can just stop looking at the road and trust your navigator and focus on what he's saying and listen and make the road as you go. Okay, another tip that I can also give you, also that deals with my thought process when I'm going throughout the stage, is have your pace notes at least 2 calls away. It depends on how fast you're going as well. Let's say if you're in Poland, you're definitely going to want to have your pace note calls earlier. But if you say, let's say you're in Mexico, the tricky stages there, you will want your pace notes to be a little bit later, so that you can have the proper timing when you're going into all the different turns. So basically, when it comes to my pace notes, I'm about 2 or 3 calls away, and why I do this is because you're able to transition into the next corner smoothly. So if you're going from a left 5 into a right 3 and then a left 2, what you can do is you hear, okay, I'm going from a left 5 into a left 3. You prepare your line for the 3 even before you've seen it. So that's why you listen to your co-driver as well, so you can prepare for it before you've seen it. And also, if you know after that right 3 you're going into a left 2, you can also prepare to swing the car around for that too. So if you have 2 or 3 calls ahead, then you're also able to prepare for each corner accordingly. So definitely, as you get faster, make your pace notes earlier and also adjust them according to the stage. Another tip which I would have, which helped me a lot as well, is to definitely record yourself. You don't necessarily have to post it unless you want to. 100%, I do encourage that, because I'd love to see your driving also. It's lovely to learn from other people too. So it's sort of, for me, I would record myself, obviously. Maybe if I have a good run, I'll watch my videos, some of the ones that I posted. Sometimes I record and just watch it over later just to see how I can improve. But if I have a good run, I don't know if it's a good thing, I nitpick sometimes, and I will watch my run over and over and over and over and over again, almost obsessively, to say, okay, I could have done that better, and I'll tweak this, and I'll maybe, if I shifted earlier, or if I went out a little bit more. That's something that I'm actually focusing on now, is to use more of the road, because I do want to cut a lot and sometimes I can't cut. So that's one of the things that I'm really focusing on, is to use more of the road and not to stick too close to the sides. So you can notice these things the more you watch yourself do them, if you have a point of reference. So I do really recommend recording yourself, and you can watch it and say, okay, I can do this better. And that's also how I learned that I really ride the clutch a lot when I do my off throttle oversteer. So it really helps you a great deal. So I would definitely recommend recording yourself also. Oh yes, okay, another tip which I have just recently started doing, another trick which I can also give to you guys, and that can help you improve too, is that you don't always have to heel toe on every single downshift. Sometimes I will use, let's say, a downshift and without the heel toe technique, so we can sort of double as a clutch kick, because it will give that sort of power surge to the engine, so that I can keep on going and it can give more power. Because if I heel toe, it will just be a smooth downshift. Sometimes I need that power to keep me going. Like, let's say I'm going up a hill and I'm going up in 3rd gear and I can see I'm losing power. I'm not going to heel toe to go into 2nd. What I'm going to do is just smoothly change, well, normally change into 2nd gear without using the heel toes technique, so that by the time it gets to 2nd, there's a power surge. It works sort of like a clutch kick, hits the engine, I've got power, I'm going up that hill. So that's another thing. You don't necessarily always have to heel toe on all your downshifts, but only if you want a smooth transition throughout all those downshifts.